Hi, I'm Dr. Diogo Alves, and in today's tutorial, I will show you how you can create your own 3D gum contouring guide using SmileFy software. This feature is available on the iPad and MacBook version. As you can see, the 3D design and the Perio Analysis is already finished, and we will focus today on the Perio Analysis portion of this treatment plan. If you want to learn how to calibrate the files and how to 3D design, click in the link below and learn step by step. By creating a 3D Perio analysis using SmileFy, you're not only creating the 3D design itself, but you are also respecting the biological width of your future restoration. So as you can see here, we have a CBCT bone file, which was converted from a DICOM file to an STL file. We also have a intraoral scan, which the CBCT will allow you to visualize the position of the bone crest in comparison with the cervical margin of your 3D design. And the intraoral scan will show you the soft tissue that you want to remove in this procedure. Before going into the Perio analysis, let's first make sure that the Smile design, the 3D mockup, is aesthetically pleasing and is at your likings. So in order to do that, you can change the opacity of the files that you added into SmileFy by going into the Option tab and sliding the intraoral scan all the way to the left. Also the CBCT all the way to the left, so you can hide that. Then you can go into Analysis tab, scroll up, and also remove the smile frame, and simulate the future smile by tapping on lip. In a pinch mode, you can zoom out and visualize your future 3D design in the patient's mouth digitally first. As you can see in this photo, for example, you can't really see the gingival margin. But from a periodontal standpoint, it is important for you to respect the biological width. And this is why we're going to be focusing now on the periodontal part of it. So let's remove the simulation. Let's bring the opacity back. And now let's tap on Analysis. Scroll up, and you will find on the right-hand side the cross-section. The cross-section will allow you to visualize the design and the bone and soft tissues all together from a sagittal view. Tap on the Set button and turn that on. Now on the left side, you will see the intraoral scan and the 3D design. On the right side, you will see the cross-section image. On the cross-section image, the pink color is represented by the 3D design. The orange color image is represented by the intraoral scan. But since we are also checking on the bone height and checking on the biological width, at the bottom of your screen, you can also add the CBCT cross-section view. Wait a couple of seconds until it fully loads. Press and hold on top of the image that you see on the left side, and a cross-section slicer will appear. With a finger or with your Apple Pencil, you can move the cross-section slicer to the left or to the right. We recommend you to place this slicer right in the middle of the 3D design for better analysis. And now from a CBCT point of view, what you see is the level of the bone crest and the cervical margin of your 3D design. At the bottom of your screen, you can also use the slider and bring it to all. That way, you will be able to visualize on the right side a cross-section of the CBCT, the 3D design, and the intraoral scan. And now what you see is the level of the bone crest to the cervical margin of your 3D design to the edge of the free gingiva that you want to remove in this gingivectomy. In the cross-section portion of SmileFy, you will find measurement. If you turn that on, which you see it turns into red, you will be able to measure anything on the right side of your screen. For example, let's measure the total height of this patient's central crown. You tap at the borderline between the bone height and the tooth, all the way down to the incisal edge of that central, and you will get the measurement, which is 12.25 millimeter. If you press and hold on this square in one of the edges, you will be able to adjust the height if you like. To do more measurements, you simply tap on the screen once again and then tap on the other end. And if you want to make any other adjustments, simply drag one of those ends to get your measurements. If you make a mistake or if you want to remove a measurement, in the cross-section portion at the bottom of your screen, you can tap delete. Looking at the design itself, you can also make the measurement, for example, of how much gingiva you are planning on removing, depending on your case. And you can also check on the biological width of your procedure by finding 3 millimeters from the cervical margin of your design to find the new biological width. So for example, in this case, if I wanted to have these type of statics, I would probably have to do a bone removal of let's see, about 1 millimeter to give proper space on that biological width. Let me zoom in. Then some doctors perform it with an open flap. Other doctors use the piezo technique to remove that remaining bone to create proper spacing on that biological width. If you want to perform a full flapless technique, then you can go back into the 3D design portion and reduce the height of that design to then have enough biological width space without the need of doing a open flap or osteotomy in the case. To do that, turn off the cross section, go to design, scroll up, and group all teeth together. Then in the size portion, reduce the height of all teeth together and use the coronal button just to bring that design down so it remains at the same position from an incisal edge position point of view. You can go to option and adjust the opacity of it. Now notice that there is a much bigger space between the bone crest level and the cervical margin of your 3D design. Go back to analysis, and by turning the cross section on, you'll be able to now make your new measurements. Just wait a little bit until all files are loaded. On the left side of your screen, press and hold so you can activate the cross-section slider and move that slider towards the middle of that central that you are analyzing. Wait a couple of seconds until it fully loads and perform your measurements. So tap on measurement, make sure that it's on. you will see that it's that the button turned into red. Then tap on the area where you wanted to measure. Then from here, based on your analysis, you can deliver a flapless technique or an open flap technique, always respecting the biological width of your procedure. Notice that the design itself is slightly buckly. The reason why is because you are going to use the 3D design, 3D print it, then create a silicone guide and use a bisacryl to be placed over the patient's gum for you to use it as a gum contouring guide for that procedure. Now that you have your measurements, you can turn cross-section off, tap on design. Here from a frontal view, just as before, you can always simulate the design to then tap on next to do some final adjustments and export the model to 3D print. To do the final adjustments, make sure to tap on Mesh Editor and select Solid Templates. In this final stage, you don't want to change the format of the teeth that you just created, but you want to just make sure that every single tooth is covering the entire gum portion, that the contact points are properly placed. And to do that, you can use the brushes, which are here on the left corner. And you can use the slider to move to each brush. For example, plus sign, you will be adding more digital waxing if needed. Minus, you will be removing. Move, you will be moving the tooth without changing the surface of each design. And once you are finalized, once you're finished, then tap on Export Model, which is at the bottom of your screen. Notice once again that the design itself is slightly buccal, and the reason why it's so you can create your gum contouring guide. When tapping Export, you can export it to your own iPad or MacBook device, or you can export it to your Google Drive, iCloud, or Dropbox. Here at the top, you can rename the file. Tap Done, and then tap on Save. Now that your file is exported, you can send it into your CAM software to close the mesh and 3D print the model. Tap on Next and save the case.